Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Backstage Bikini podcast with your host, Grace and Jade. So, for today's episode, we couldn't wait really to record just a full recap and review of the two UK shows that went on last weekend on Saturday. And that was the 10-time athletic Ben Weider, which was the amateur show, and there was 9 pro cards up for grabs. And followed by that, there was the One Bro Pro Show, which was a men's physique pro show and a women's bikini pro show. And it was an incredible show. It was the first pro qualifier in the UK of the year, and it was also the first pro show of the year. So I can imagine the standard was incredibly high, and we don't want to give anything away too soon before we get into things. But Jade, what did you think of the show just gone, the standard, etc.?
Yeah, I think it met my expectations in terms of the standard. You could see it for the regional a couple of weeks before. You could really see, especially in bikini, in the amateur ranks as well. I could really see the standard was going to be high, and you always attract a little bit more traction as well from an amateur standpoint as well in terms of people travel from all over. Especially in Europe, you find a lot of the girls will travel over to the UK because it's one of the earliest pro qualifiers, and just to get themselves in there and get on a stage. So yeah, the standard was insane, and there's actually a few girls that didn't place in that show that I'd like to give a shout out to as well, because their physiques and their structure was just insane. So
Yes,
even the
absolutely.
placings just don't necessarily reflect
No,
whether you are
no.
up there or not. It's just the standard. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I think the fact that it is the first, it was the first regional a couple of weeks ago and then the first pro qualifier, it means that the whole season is opened up for them. So, people who maybe didn't place as well as they'd liked, or, did well in the regional, not so well as a pro qualifier, like, you've all year to kind of make those improvements if that's what you want to do. And what's amazing about the shows at this time is that you can actually go into a little bit of an off season and then go back into a prep for later on, and
Yeah.
you're actually in a really, really good position to do so. So
Yeah.
I think it's a really, really good group of shows to do the first couple as well, but we'll get into it on now.
For sure.
So the amateur bikini results don't have any professional photos so far. I'm sure there's loads to come, but big shout out to obviously Jasmine Jeffrey, who won the novice class at the weekend. Her high class was actually full of 12 girls.
Wow.
I saw the photo, which is mad for her high class. And I think absolute credit to Jasmine. Obviously, we had her on the podcast, but her progress this year, I feel like if there was an award for like the most amount of progress, it should go to her. And that's like not me being biased, obviously, her being a friend of
No.
ours, but I think credit her because she is a taller individual, and it's incredibly hard to fill out a frame like that. Like, it really, really is. And I know myself, and even just this shot here, like, you can see the muscle that she's has in her legs. Her posing was
Hmm.
so on point, the look, and she just had so much more confidence. And I know competing to her, and these placings, it means a lot, and just stepping back on stage after everything. So I think massive, massive well done to her. Her improvements have been incredible, and her and Joe definitely make it an amazing team.
Yeah, massive. I think from sort of Jasmine's standpoint, I know she shared on her podcast alone that it's not really necessarily a competitive outlet for her in the first instance. It's definitely more about enjoyment. But I think that's really shown this year. And I think her physique as well. I know she put a poll up on her Instagram not long ago about whether she was more fitted to sort of fitness or whether she was more fitted to the bodybuilding side of things. And her physique this year, I think she couldn't be more bikini if she tried. The glute development as well on her
Mm-hmm.
is just insane. The shape's beautiful. I think she, I think she underestimates her potential, perhaps in
Mm-hmm.
this sport sometimes, because
Yeah.
as much as she's there for all of her reasons and the right reasons, I think that this year is a testament of truly what her physique could achieve
Yeah.
if she carried on pushing it. So yeah,
I agree. I agree.
hats
And
off to her.
with the progress and seeing the posing and everything, like, I've seen pros on stage who are her height, and she's very, very close to that
Yes,
kind of density that a taller girl would have.
would need.
A
Yeah.
couple of off seasons away, but she has the look there.
Mhm.
Just flicking through everything here. The black suit was incredible,
Oh, it suits her
and
so
everything.
much. I
And
think it's such a statement as well, isn't it? The black suit.
yeah.
It's a huge statement, but it really does suit her physique and her
Hmm.
overall look. And I think that's something that she's obviously considered. But yeah, the glutes more than anything for me, and the shape sort of her,
Yeah,
the clavicles, the wide clavicles, and then the
yeah,
tiny waist. Yeah, I think she potentially underestimates her potential in this sport. I think
yeah, yeah.
it's
Oh, here's the
really
progress
coming.
here. This is what I wanted
Yeah.
to pull up. This is actually only between the regional and the
Wow.
pro qualifier, which is mad.
Look at the upper glute fullness as well.
It's crazy. It's really, really
Mm.
crazy. So much fullness in the delts as well. Like
Hmm.
this looks like it's been an off season, another off season. Like
Literally.
that is really, really impressive. And it just goes to show what can happen,
Yeah. Between
in
shows.
what is it, 2 weeks,
Yeah.
with the right guidance and getting that feedback, So honestly, huge credit to Jasmine. She smashed it out of the park, really, really
Hmm.
did. In the overall lineup, we actually had the girl that won the overall 2 weeks ago, and she also won Jasmine's class, so she is one of the taller ones.
Mm.
I'm
Becky
pretty
West, isn't
sure,
it?
yes.
Mm.
Is that on Instagram? Fanny Fox Meh? Is that? I don't butcher the Instagram name. I think that could be
I
her, but
think so.
she oh, sorry, no, this is Becky West, sorry,
Yeah, on
and
the
this
left.
is I don't know her actual name, I only know her Instagram name, but
Mm.
Becky West, sorry, yeah, go back to her. She did win the regional, and she actually won it last year as well,
Yes,
so
the overall. Yeah,
the
both years.
overall as well.
Hmm.
So very close to the pro card, and I know it was super close in the lineup. I can't remember this girl's name, and I don't actually recognize any of the other girls.
No.
But they all look amazing, and even this girl's glutes, I don't have a back shot, but her glutes were insane.
Yeah,
This girl
absolutely.
in the
I
middle.
think across the board from an amateur level as well. We'll go into the pros as well just to sort of discuss their physiques. But from an amateur level, there's a lot of density and a lot of muscle development in those amateur ranks now. Now, there was a time when you could step on stage, and I know it is an entry level sort of sport, so the desire is to make it look achievable. But there was a time where you could step in off stage and have a very minimal training background and still carry off the look. Whereas now I think that is becoming more and more demanding
Yeah,
and more difficult because of that. I mean, look at the density, especially if you look at Becky's glutes. Becky's glutes have come on so much from
it's
last year as
crazy.
well.
Yeah, yeah,
Insane.
yeah. She does. She definitely stands out as being the taller individual. But we'll go into the winner now. I'm sure everybody is really anticipating us to say it. But we have Miss Marnie Al Saraf. To be honest, I was crying. I
I
was
cried
actually
like a
crying.
baby. I cried like
And
a baby.
I listened to the podcast back as well, because I had to think of it in the perspective, okay, she's won it now, she's got through it.
Yeah.
Marnie's progress from the regional, same as Jasmine's, it was just night and day. Like
Mm.
she was asked to come in tighter, she came in tighter, and she also came in fuller. She changed the
Fuller.
look, she brought the red suit, and it just screamed pro. It just screamed
Hmm.
pro all over it. And nobody, well, I know they all deserved it in that lineup, really and truly, but we know how hard Marnie has been working for this for such a long period of time. She said on the podcast, she's been competing since she was 18. It's been her whole life, basically.
Mm.
And, even though she was acting like a pro and she was posing like a pro, you just need that card to kind of solidify things and saying, right, I'm doing everything, you know?
Yeah, doing it
Um,
right. I think the
yeah,
stoicness that she had going into the season as well, as much as she knew she wanted it and she knew that she was very driven, obviously that's always been the goal, but she was very stoic, she was very present, she was very calm. And I think that compiled with the actual win is such a massive, I was so overwhelmed when I
yeah.
watched her win, so overwhelmed. So I can only imagine how it must have felt for her just to get there, because
Mm-hmm.
she said she envisioned it, and everything
Yep.
about this win was something that she was gunning for. But yeah, to actually achieve it, look at her.
She
But
always
her physique was
says,
beautiful.
she always said when the stars align. And I think that's a really, really good, quote to go by, because it's not like, okay, I'm going to get it here, I'm going to here. It's like, when the time is right, it will
it
come,
it will be mine.
and
Mhm.
I think just everything that she brought to this, it was her time, the
Mhm.
suit and everything, and her physique, she was peaked really, really well. She was a lot fuller. And
Yes.
I think fair play to her for holding her own, like, as being the height that she is, because we always speak about it, like, it is a little bit more challenging to kind of stand out, you know, when
Mm-hmm.
you're in a lineup of taller, more heavily muscled girls. So fair play for standing her own. And she brought a bit of a Maureen look as well, and she was doing the nod and
Yes.
everything, and she just brought that confidence. And clearly the judge, Maz, it just stood out because he obviously wasn't judging a few weeks ago, but he knows that pro look. He sees it all the time in front of him. So she
Yeah.
just fitted the best on the day, really and truly.
Yeah. What I will say as well about Marnie's look this time, especially, I mean, I know she brought her conditioning in much more, like that 2 weeks must have been a dig because it's notable how much more conditioned she was. But
Mm-hmm.
she has that bubbly muscle look. So
Yeah.
when she's peaked correctly, she looks bubbly, she looks healthy, for want of a better word. So I just think that the look was nailed. They did exceptionally well. And like you say, all the little nuances, like even in the overall lineup when the girls are walking forward and turning around, like she
Mm-hmm.
just has that stage presence, and it's enough to draw your eye at that point. And
Yeah.
that's literally it's apples and oranges. And the difference between you standing out against a lineup like that is that personality, is
Yeah.
that individualism. So
Yeah.
yeah, she knit it all.
And
I
credit
just, it's
to
just
her coach, Jake Watts, as well.
yeah,
They've been working together. I think she said on the podcast since September-ish of last year.
yeah, just
And
less
she's
than a
been
year, I
prepping
think.
since, yeah, she's been prepping since kind of December. So credit to them working as a team, and also to her partner being so supportive. You know, that all makes a massive, massive difference. And she always says about her circle and everything. So,
Mhm.
you know, you need to have the right people around you. And obviously all her posing clients were there, and she just lives this through and through, and she has a circle around her. And, you know, it's just now the next step in her
Yeah,
journey. Now she just has the card to solidify it. So
for
absolutely
sure.
delighted for her. And she's one of the most kindest individuals as well. Like, honestly, so humble, you know, and she just does the sport because she loves it, you know, and has seen through numerous off seasons, numerous preps, you know, getting knocked down, coming back from it. And it's an amazing story. You know, it reminds me of kind of Phoebe Goodwin's as well, where, you know, you'll have your struggles and you'll have your doubts and other people down you, but ultimately you come out on top, you know. And it's so
That's
much
it.
sweeter. It's so much sweeter knowing kind of what you've been through as well. So
Yeah. And I think
delighted for
watching
her.
it from an outsider's point of view as well, just watching somebody achieve something like that, I have to, after not giving up for such an incredible length of time, that's what it's about. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the instant gratification from this sport is fantastic if you've got it, if you're born with it, if you have the genetic profile for this sport, then
Yeah.
fantastic. You will get ahead. But if you're somebody who has to work at it, like 99% of us, Marnie's the person you need to be watching.
Mm-hmm.
Phoebe Goodwin's the person you need to be watching. Like, watch
Yeah.
those girls, watch how much they apply
Mm-hmm.
themselves to this sport. That's what's going to get you there. So,
Yeah,
yeah, incredible.
absolutely. At the moment
Mm.
when the card got handed, honestly, you actually feel it, don't you? You
Yeah.
feel the endorphins and just like it's a dream, you know, and it always takes the people a couple of seconds to realize that, like, oh God, that's actually me.
Yeah.
And like there's the heart racing stuff. So all of that hard work worth it. Incredibly, incredibly proud of you, Marnie. And nobody deserves this more. So well done.
Yeah.
Well done again, really. All right. And then we moved on to the pro show. So obviously, because Marnie was able to, so she won the pro card, she immediately just went into this one. I don't think you have to. I don't think like it's a given, but you know, it's your pro debut, so why not kind of go for it? You're in the condition and stuff like that, and it's a chance to be up against the pros and the more experienced pros. So this is the list here. I'm not going to try and say everyone's name just in case anyone wants to butcher me on YouTube for
They love
saying
to
their
do
names.
that, right?
Yeah. When you say the name right, but they think it's wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, incredible athletes, most of them from Europe. And then obviously, I think this is Adam Team Elite Physique's wife.
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
So she traveled all the way over. We'll talk about her in a second, but we'll go through the top five here. Esther came first, Nora second, Lisa is third, so she actually wasn't on this list. Fourth place, Marnie, which was absolutely incredible, and fifth we have Priscilla. So will we start with Priscilla because she is European athlete, but she only competed in a show most recently, didn't she, Jade? If I remember correctly, she did was it a US show? I know that
I think
Adam
so.
definitely did a review on the show. But
Mhm.
she is An Olympian. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
the
She
Clash. Yeah,
actually
she is top 5, top
top
6 rather.
5
Yeah, top 5.
in what year was this? I don't
161
actually
weeks
know.
ago. It'll be
2020.
2021. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, because that was the year that Issa won.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
That is crazy. She has an incredible physique. I think just this year she needs to come in a lot leaner.
A little bit tighter. Yeah.
Definitely, like incredible shape. Like you can
Mm.
see it here, and she's taking a good long off season off, but just not lean enough. I'd say she's another kind of 5-6 weeks to go. Maybe when it comes to condition, like her shape is incredible, and I think if she was lean, I think she could have actually won that show.
Yeah, I agree.
Do
I think
you?
condition from the side there on the side shot. I mean, she's just missing that finer detail, isn't she? And here, as she turns around and things like that, I mean, she's full, she's beautiful, beautiful physique. But yeah, just from the back, they like those tie-ins at the moment, unfortunately. And the deeper they are, the better. So long as they're not too harsh comparative to the overall physique and the lineup.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time. It's subjective. It's who you're up against. But I think, especially compared to the winner, she was much softer, and even Marnie's condition through the back as a new pro was quite defined, was quite established. So I think that just fell foul a little bit, maybe, just a condition thing, but that's something that is well within her control. And as you said earlier, starting the season so early gives you that feedback, gives you that opportunity to refine the look going through. So
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see the last of her at all.
No. I'd say it's going to be a big long season for her, because she knows that it's just a condition thing, and she's very very close. But how incredible is it that Marnie beat her? Given the fact that she's a top 5 Olympian in 2020, like that is crazy. And it shows that Marnie is close to it. A couple of off seasons, she has the structure and all that kind of thing. So I think when you achieve something like that, it's like Phoebe, in the Olympia beating those top 5 Olympians as well. Like it just shows the progress.
Yeah. I think for Marnie, now it'll be a matter of density, really bedding in that muscle and getting those muscle bellies really sort of defined. I don't think with her stature or anything like that, especially her upper body, I don't think she needs to do anything with it. Potentially a little bit of refinement with the glute, but I don't think at the pro level she needs much more mass because of her height. I think she's probably got there, but I think really bedding in that muscle, potentially maybe even a little bit of quad, slight, but just to
her
again
posing
more than
actually
anything
changed this year. I don't know, did you notice that, Jade? And it actually, I think, brought her quads down a little bit. She knows posing better than anyone, so I'm sure she knew is fitting best for her. But it was interesting to see her kind of move that around, and it'll be interesting when she kind of, I suppose, gets into more pro shows, how she kind of adjusts her posing as well alongside the physique improvements.
I mean, the development. The development again, like stacked up against that lineup as well. She had such good muscular development, and I think that's what placed her as high as she did, because with her stature again, that she didn't look out of place.
Yeah. Third place, then we have Lisa. As we said, she was not on the list. I think she's more of a quieter pro. I think she might have turned pro in, was this the M Pro show in 2021?
Like Ben Weider.
Yes, so it was the M Pro, the Spanish Ben Weider, I think, in November by the looks of it, in 2021. So I don't know, was this her first season potentially? Was it like her debut season? But she has some pretty good muscle there. Like you said, comparatively to Marnie, like that looks like it's been sitting there a while. Like it's dense. Do you know what I mean? She does look like a little bit older. So really good physique. I think just given where the other 2 girls or the 3 girls above her were condition wise, I think that was just it. But she could do very well. Like it's the glutes, isn't it? For me, it's that top glute there, and you can see it. It's like just that teardrop. It's insane.
Absolutely insane. I mean, if anything there, excuse me, you'd be looking to make sure that she doesn't train that upper glute too much, potentially squaring it off a little bit. I think that might have been just that picture, perhaps, because that's much softer. But yeah, her again structure, you can't. I mean, look at the structure. The muscle development is already there, but she's just built that on top of a beautiful structure, nice wide clavicles. She's got really round delts. It just, beautiful physique. And she doesn't look too tall either. I think maybe a couple of inches taller than Marnie, but not a great deal.
Yeah.
So again, I don't think that there's much room in terms of muscle development or much need for it there at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Really
I
not.
think she is. I think, like you said, she might just need to be a little bit conscious of that lower half. It's almost like etching on wellness, I think, comparatively to her upper body. It is just that
Yes.
touch a little bit bigger. So
Mhm.
maybe like proportions kind of what she's working on. But it looks like it's kind of her first run of shows really as like a new pro, just going off her Instagram.
Yeah.
And she's a mother as well. So by the looks of
Ah,
it, so fair play to her.
how amazing.
But I'd say, you know, she could do very, very well if she's competing kind of this year. It'd be interesting to see her in more European shows, you know, up against the European pros and
Yeah,
the EVs and all that kind of thing as well.
absolutely. I think from a muscular sort of development standpoint as well, she won't go wrong. But conditioning wise, as we all know, the minute you step that side of the pond, it's the conditions much more favored to be that harder, denser look. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see where she's stacked actually.
Yeah, definitely has the biggest glutes here.
For sure. For
But
sure.
it's not who has the biggest anything really, it's the best proportions. But
Mm.
second place we have Nora, who's a well seasoned athlete, I would say. I
Yeah.
really, really like her physique, I have to say. I think she's stunning too.
Mm-hmm.
I do think potentially, I don't know what you think, Jay. Do you think it was a condition thing? Do you think she was maybe like too lean? She could have done with like filling up a little bit more. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure because even with Esther as well, I wasn't sure looking at the photos. I mean, it's quite difficult. We weren't there in person, so it is
Yeah.
always really difficult to be objective and be sort of critical of the photographs alone because obviously there's editing, retouching, there's lighting differences. You don't know the quality versus what they actually look like on stage. I was I wasn't sure whether Esther was actually more conditioned than Nora.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Okay.
was quite surprised by that. But then Nora's much taller. So there's always a risk of taller athletes just looking a little bit stringy if they come in a little bit too hard. You
Yeah.
can lose that bubble and lose that sort of fullness quite easily on a taller athlete. And I think there's
Yeah.
maybe again a couple of inches between her and the winner. So potentially it's that obviously individual to her physique. Maybe she would have done better coming in that slight bit fuller.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, if you look at that, I mean, they're quite similar height wise, but
Yeah.
Esther looks much bigger and
Yeah.
not necessarily in a more muscle mass, but much fuller.
Mm-hmm.
So I think potentially that could have been what the difference was, and it looks to be a hairline. I mean, it
Yeah.
is at
I
this
was
level
literally gonna
anyway, but
say, like, I would
yeah.
say it was really, really tight between those two.
Mm-hmm.
And potentially if Nora does another European show, you know, she has that qualification there.
Yeah.
Because she is
Yeah.
beautiful and I really, really like her physique, and she thinks she suits the kind of European look as well, doesn't she?
She
She fits
does.
really, really
Yeah.
well into it.
Yeah.
So stunning, stunning physique. And then first place we have Esther now. I think I love her story. If you followed her journey last year, she was going pretty much all year for her Olympia
Mm.
qualification. And this was back when you could qualify in the point system. So she relied heavily on that. And she was kind of at the top of the point system, wasn't she, Jade? And then eventually, I
Yeah.
think was it the very, very last show of the season? If I remember correctly, did she
She
win?
just got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
After
was
I think
it
it was
was
like, I think
incredible.
it was like 11 or 12, if not more shows.
Oh, she fought for it. She really did. And
Crazy.
I think that's where all of her emotion came from. Like I
Yeah.
watched her story and I am not fluent in the language that she speaks at all, but you could hear it either way. You could hear the passion, you could hear the gratitude and the sort of feelings and the overwhelm. And to be able to go in and do that and win it straight
Mm-hmm.
out the bat must be such a relief perhaps for her as well, because that must have been such a fight
Yep.
to keep
Absolutely.
going and to believe
To
in
keep
yourself for that
going.
length of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. And then to get it on, I think it was her first show of the season
yeah.
this year then, you know, and to
Mhm.
then get qualified, it just means it takes so much pressure off her now for the rest
Yeah.
of the year, and she can make those improvements and not do as she did last year, because there is something to be said between for prepping all year and being tired by the end of it, you know, and that's bound to have an impact. And she probably thought that, okay, maybe the Olympia wasn't her best look, but now it absolutely will be, you know, when
Yeah.
most people who got qualified early are going to be taking, you know, the next few months off to improve as much as they can with the time that they have. So
Yeah.
I'm super, super excited for her. I love her physique. I think just in terms of proportions, I would like to see a little bit more upper body. Now, I don't know if that's a posing thing. I don't know if you agree. I just feel like the upper body could just open up a little bit more.
I think
I
if
think
she's
muscle
more
wise,
side on,
yeah.
sorry, yeah, I think muscle wise, I think I agree, because from the back shot she looks quite balanced, but I think if you look at that front shot, I think if she was more profiled with her hips, maybe, so really pulled them round. I mean, again, it's compromising that front shot slightly, but I think it might just be a hip placement thing more than anything, because she's exposing a little bit more of sort of a pelvis, and that is ultimately a little bit wider
Yeah.
than her shoulders.
Yeah.
So
I would like to see a little bit more, just a little bit more lat here, maybe.
yeah.
That would just kind of just accentuate the upper body a little bit more. But look, she's qualified now and she can make those improvements. I'm sure she'll get the kind of feedback on board as well. But she's stunning and she seems like such a lovely human as well.
Yeah.
You have to have a different kind of mindset to go through all those shows last year, like
It's
show after show after show, and get knocked down and being so close, you know. And that builds you. It really does. As an athlete,
100%.
it's the same with Phoebe, you know, and she was going and going and going, and eventually came, and that qualification then just means so much more when you do get it after all that work. So honestly, delighted for her.
It's the mindset, isn't it? That's the difference. And I think with athletes like this at this level, the ones that are just not prepared to give up, irrespective, Marnie's a prime example as well, from an amateur now to a pro. It's that absolute refusal to give up on your dreams and on your goals, and that self-belief and the endurance that not many of us have. Like I could hand on heart say that I'm not sure whether I would have it. I'd certainly love to think that I have, and I've demonstrated it in a fashion, but when you get to that level, it's cutthroat, it's hairlines, you can be so close but so far at the same time. So good on her. I mean, to see her do it so early in the season, she can relax now and go into the Olympia at her best is crazy.
Exactly. But I was I think I was just so emotional off the back of the weekend, because just Marnie's story and just people winning their pro cards and whatnot. It's like, I think this podcast has opened up so much, even with Jasmine's story, about like we all go through a very similar struggle, you know, off season prep. It's hard for us all. We all have challenges relative to us, but you still people coming back. You still see people fighting back and bringing their best, and you're like, right, if they can do it, knowing that they have a similar story, I can do it too. And that's the beauty of the sport. And that's why I was just so emotional over the weekend. I'm not even close to my period. And that's why I was like, what the hell? It's like, this is touching very different. I was like, it just made me as well. I'm sure everybody else listening is just so excited, you know, for their own off seasons, for their next prep. And to know that, okay, no matter what you're going through, as cringy as it sounds, like you absolutely can come back and you can fight back and you can be a better athlete out the other side, not a worse one, you know.
100%. I think part and parcel of this journey as well is actually enduring things like that. I mean, if it was straightforward and it was simple, 99% of us would walk away from it, because that's not what attracted us in the first place, that it would be easy. It's the complete opposite. So yeah, I got a lot of motivation myself and a lot of sort of encouragement from watching these girls myself, and especially Marnie's win. That I bawled like a baby. I'm not even afraid to say it. Like, I was crying my eyes out, and it's just so special. And one of the girls actually that I completely forgot to mention earlier that I want to make a shout out to, she's an amateur as well, and she actually placed second in the regional, but didn't place this time round. But her structure reminds me so much of Priscilla's. She's called Hannah Ibbotson.
What's her
She's
name?
Hannah Ibbotson. So Hannah IFBB. Yeah. I mean, her structure, I think from her standpoint, she's very new. I think I'd argue to say she's early 20s. I'm really sorry, Hannah, if you're listening to this and you are not early 20s and you're much.
We love
double B.
We love a young amateur, because they're the future, really, aren't they?
Absolutely. I think it's double B there. Put another B in.
IBB.
Yeah. ETSON, I think. I'm going to sound like a little bit of a. Oh. Wonder where she is. IFBB. She's coached by. There she is.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's no. I'm so hands body. There you go. If you put hands body something in, this is going to sound so crazy. We sound like stalkers. Yeah. So if you look actually that post there, that post where her first one on the Instagram that you're on already.
Oh, this is her.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on it.
So
I'm on it. I'm on it. I'm on it. Grand.
I
Okay.
think so. I think this might be a personal one actually, but it's the same thing. I think if you scroll, yeah, watch her this.
Oh,
Look at that
wow.
physique. I think it's just a
Very,
matter of
very wide,
condition.
wide
Mhm.
clavicles, shoulder width. That is immense.
I
It's a
think it's
condition
just a
thing, isn't
matter of
it?
condition. Yeah. And Hannah, if you're listening to this, I think she's coached by Team Alpha. But if you're listening to this, oh wow, your future is so crazy. I remember seeing
Very
her at
nice lower
first.
half. That's a
Yes,
very nice
beautiful
shape.
shape. And like the
Gosh.
muscle development for such a young athlete in her
Yeah.
upper body comparative to lower body, I think from a balance standpoint, I think she's hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Get that condition right, get the density and sit in that muscle for a little bit longer. She's going to make a lot of people very upset.
Yeah. Look at that X frame
So,
though.
yeah,
Like that's a
insane,
bikini X frame.
insane.
Wow. What high class was she?
Oh, I'm
Do
not
you know?
entirely sure. Potentially E, D, something like that. I
Okay.
think she might be around my height. That's a complete guess. But she didn't place in this pro qualifier, and I think as we said,
Here
it's
we go.
just a matter of condition for it and time in the
Yes, here we go.
sport as well. Hmm.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah,
immense. I think, yeah, condition maybe
beautiful.
2, 3, 4 weeks. Be interested. I don't know if she's hanging up the heels now, or she's going again. As she said, the chase continues, so potentially I'm
Hmm.
back to it tomorrow. So potentially Sweden or anything like that. But she
Hmm.
could do very well
I'd
once
love
she
to
brings it
see
in
her a couple
tighter.
of pounds lighter, like a couple
Yeah.
of pounds lighter, and it's probably all it is. Like you say, a couple of weeks, really pull her
Mm.
in. But I think this
She's
is
done
only her
PCA
second
before as
season.
well.
Yeah, I think she competed for the first time last year,
Just a lot of
and
muscle,
then
actually.
quite a close sort of season in terms of
Yeah.
re-entering a prep. But from a coach's standpoint, it makes all the sense in the world because I think the muscle development and the balance is there. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
matter of refining that condition. But yeah,
Love it.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Tiny waist. It's there.
Hmm.
It's really, really there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't
had to give
actually
her a
see her
shout out.
wear. Yeah. And shout out to all of the amateurs at the weekend. I wish
Yeah.
we could name you all. I can't actually think of anybody off the top of my head. Um, that was competing that we haven't got to shout out yet. No.
No,
But
I
look,
think
we have a whole host of shows this year, and I definitely think we should do more of these. I think it's important that we're able to shout out all the amazing amateur athletes and up and coming athletes, the younger generation, and these promising amateurs too that could potentially turn pro this year. So there's lots of shows ahead, and lots of pro cards to be won. So we're just going to sit back and watch. Jade, it's not our time. It's not our time yet. So
it's not our
we'll just
time, but
we'll just live vicariously through everybody else.
I'm here for it. Honestly,
Yeah.
I am. I'm quite happy to sit and eat a donut and watch
Yeah.
these girls work it out. But no, honestly, massive, as Grace said, just to sort
Yeah.
of echo you, Grace, like
Yeah.
huge shout out. The talent that's coming through. And I know I said it at the very start of the season, watching the regional. I think I posted on my Instagram about it, but the talent that's coming through at the moment is just insane. It's mind blowing. And
Yeah.
people are just doing incredible things.
Yeah.
And just if you're listening to this and you're at an amateur level and you want this, just don't give up. Keep going. Because
Exactly.
it's
This is
there
the
to be
girl.
had.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
This is the girl that I think competed yesterday. She doesn't really post that much. I think it is her just going off the look. She did the show I did last year. Was that the same one? Or no, I think she did one a little bit after. I know I think she's friends with Milena. I've bumped into her before. I'll have a look at her story. Or no, I don't think she posted anything. I think she's kind of like Jasmine, a little bit of a quiet prepper, but I'm fairly sure that was
Very
her
similar
there.
looks. Yeah, very
Maybe
similar
not,
looks.
but she's a good athlete too anyway. So
Yeah,
but no,
beautiful.
lots of shows coming up, and pro shows as well that we'll be doing reviews on. And yeah, very, very exciting year ahead for everybody. But no, well done to everybody that competed this weekend. And let us know how you found this episode. Any comments on YouTube, just save the negative ones, please. or just say it a little bit nicer.
We do try with the names. We do try, but it is
I'm
so
open to
difficult.
criticism, but just rephrase it for me, please. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I don't
Be
mind at all,
nice.
but any feedback, guys, is greatly appreciated. Massive congrats,
Awesome.
Marnie, as well. Enjoy the time off, whatever you're doing. Enjoy the food, you and Joe, and everything, the celebrations. But massive well done, guys, and we will catch you in the next episode.